So welcome all to the workshop for React.js. So is my voice is audible? Just yeah, is my voice is audible? Just tell it in the chat box. Okay. So okay. So we can start the class. So let me introduce about this workshops and everything. So it is going to be a 4 days of React.js beginner friendly workshop. Okay. So it is going to be very beginner friendly. If you are not into React, if right only you are learning React, then this will be really helpful for you to work with and get started with React. Okay, it's a beginner friendly workshop. And whatever the doubts that you have, you can ask me here. And this is going to be probably the last workshop that we're going to take it in TWD. So thereafter you will get the pre-recorded courses only going to get it because we have done a lot of workshops. So that's why. So if you want to follow after beginner friendly, if you want to learn some other extras and masters, then where you can follow this. In the last month itself, we have taken the all the workshops. Just have a look through in the YouTube channel. You will get all the things. Okay. So, and second thing is going to be if you want a certificate just to be in the workshop till the end and get you will get a Google form. You just want to fill the Google form and you will get the certificate. And yesterday we taken only 30 minutes classes only because of the some other meetings has been disturbed. That's why we have taken. So that's why the timing is also changed today. So yeah. So now directly get started with the class. And if you have any doubts, you can ask it in the chat box. And only related to course, you can ask it in the chat box, and I will answer you the questions meanwhile and everything also. And today it is going to be 4 days only. So you're going to have today and tomorrow is not there, and Thursday and Friday you will get the class. Same classes will be there. Okay. So yesterday we have downloaded the React and what are the packages we needed. I think everyone downloaded all these things. Let me get started with React and see how each and the other things is working. Okay. So let me see that. So let me open the file where which we downloaded the thing yesterday. So we named it as workshop. Inside this React 1, this is the application that we have downloaded yesterday. So installed yesterday. So we're going to restructure it and we're going to see what all are the benefits that the React can able to do. Okay. So this is the thing. And what we want is we want another Chrome. Okay. And here we want this one. That's it. So first let's see. First let us start the React server. So I open the terminal in JavaScript, sorry, in VS Code, and using Git Bash as my default terminal, and deleting the PowerShell terminal. And here I just going to say, check that whether you are in the folder that you have installed yesterday. For example, in my case, it's going to be React 1. Whatever folder that you have installed, you just installed it here. And here you can, if you are in this place, you can just simply say npm start. So for this, you need to install npm globally, or you can use yarn, any package manager that you want to install in your computers. Okay. So once you've done this, it will start a development server for you, and it will provide a development server for you. And these things we yesterday we have discussed this. So right now what we're going to do is we're going to delete everything in the development server, and we're going to create our own application with the help of React. Okay, so this is what we have created. So now we're going to remove all the clutter files from the React.js. So what are the clutter files I don't want is, I don't want this robot. Let me delete this one. And this one, we don't want it, delete it. Logo, don't want, delete. Okay, and this one, we don't want it. And SRC file, we only want this index.js. All other than we can delete it, then we can construct our own from the starting. Okay, so I delete this CSS file, app.js file. Don't care about the error, we will rectify the error as quick as possible. Okay, so we will do this one. Okay, and then we just remove this one also, delete. So we just only want this index.js file, and all, if you can see this error, that is common because we have deleted everything from our file. So that's why it is showing the error. So let us go for this index.js and this index.html. So this index.html is the public file where all our files are going to be served, and whatever the code that inside this public file only available to the users to see. Okay, so when they click inspect, they can able to see it, right? So that's what it is. We can able to see a div with an ID called root. So inside this, nothing is here, right? So nothing is there. So actually inside this only we are rendering all our components here inside this div. Okay, so in this index.js only we are rendering. You can able to notice some JavaScript DOM operation here we are doing. So we used const root, and we are saying react DOM dot create a root element, and that root element is going to be document dot get element by ID with the help. What is the ID they have? They have root. So what is happening is we are creating a root element. So the root element is the one where we will send all our components and everything to that particular div. Okay, so we are going to send it, and that's what we're going to see. And here we're going to say root dot render. What I want to render inside this component, I have something called as app, and it is closed. So what is this? This kind of syntax is called as components. So before that, we will remove all the extra things. This one, we don't want. So in root.render, we have this app, and you can able to see give a space slash, and they are using this. What is this? So this is called a self-closing tag. And if you want to send a component from one page to another, once we imported it, we need to use it this one. So here, what are the things they here we are saying React DOM, and here index.css we actually don't want it because we removed the file. So I just removed this one, and here you can able to see we are importing app. So because that is what rendering inside that particular thing. But here why the error is showing? The error is showing because there is nothing app component we haven't created. So there is no name in the app we haven't created. So not existed. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to create my own component. So for creating components, basically there are two ways is there. So the one way is to create a component based upon using the functions, and second one is going to be using classes. Okay, so nowadays the trend is usually in function, but you can use class also. This is according to your wish, but function based components have a trend. Let's see how to create a component first of all. So just create. So what is meant by component? Component is going to be, if you want to component is like a small set of code. We're going to write it, and wherever we want it, we can send the component and we can implement it. For example, if I want to create this error box, what I can do, I can create it as a component, and wherever the error need to show, I can just call the component name, it will become. Okay, so we will discuss that pretty sure. So what I'm going to do, I inside this src file, I just going to create an file called app.js. Okay, or you can use JSX also. Okay, so either you can use JavaScript or JSX. JSX is called as, we will discuss that. What is JSX and everything. So for creating a component, what you need to do is you need to create a function. Okay, so because based on function, we can able to create a component. Based on class, we can able to create a component. Now we're going to create a component based on function. So here I'm creating a function, and the name of the function, here it is a component. So you need to give it as a caps letter. For example, here I'm mentioning the component name as app. A first letter is going to be caps because I'm importing this one. You can see I'm importing app from this file called app. So app.js is the file, and I'm importing a component that has in the name of this. Either you can change it here or change it here. You need to give a caps letter. And then what I need to do, I need to create a normal function. Okay, this is going to be a normal function, and now I just want to export it. Export default, and then I need to say app. So what is going to be export default? And here what we are saying is, so if anyone is importing anything from this file, the default component that should be imported is going to be this app function. Okay, so this is going to be normal JavaScript function, and we are importing it, exporting it, and wherever we want it, we can import it. Here I'm telling if someone calls the component, I just want to return, and here is going to be the change. So instead of returning a single statement or a block of code, here we're going to return a HTML code. For example, I just going to say a div, okay, and the div that contains a h1 and h1 tag, and here it is saying error, okay, and I just going to say a paragraph tag, okay, and let me copy this module error. Okay, it is rendered. Oh, fine. So let me say like hello world issues, like this, and you can able to see here hello world issues here, right? So you can able to see. So what we are basically what we did is, so this is a component. Okay, this is basically a component, and we have created an HTML like JavaScript function app, and here inside this I'm returning a HTML code. Okay, because this code I want to show it wherever the error is happening. So I just imported here, and I'm exporting here. So now what I can do is, whenever I'm calling this app, this code is going to be rendered. For example, here I call this app for once. I just create you can see I'm calling the app for 2 times, and I save it here. You can able to see the component is rendered for 2 times. So you don't want to write the same code again and again. If it is going to happen in HTML, what we will see, this div, copy the div and paste it, another copy div, paste it. We don't want to do that. We create a component once, and wherever you want it, just call the component name, it will just come there. Okay, you can use it, and even you can able to change the contents according to the components. You can dynamically change the content also, so we can discuss it. But when we are writing code, this is going to be our normal one, and here it is, this app.js is going to act like our head component, which means a root component. So we're going to create some small components, and all the components group together to form a single file, single website or anything. It is going to form it. Okay, so everything grouped together, and you need to form it, right? So that place is called here. So now what I'm going to do, for example, simply I just going to remove this one, and here I just going to add error. Instead of this, I just say React component. Okay, and I'm saving it. Here we are having React component, and whatever the component that we're going to create, we're going to create it in a separate file, and we're going to add inside this component. That's what actually we going to do it. So how can we do this? How can we achieve this? Okay, simply let's see that. So for doing this, let me go for any library and just copy paste the code, and we will create it. Okay, before that, you can able to see the syntax, right? So this is the JavaScript code, and the JavaScript is returning an HTML script. Okay, development. Okay, so if you have any what I'm saying, yeah, you can see this is a JavaScript code, and it is returning an HTML code, right? So this kind of syntax is called as JSX, JavaScript XML. Okay, so basically this syntax is called as JSX, and it has some rules and regulation. So how to use it, and how we can able to use this syntax and everything. You can do this. So how we can do this means, basically you should sorry, basically you should not give a component should not return multiple HTML elements. For example, I just say like this one. So you can able to see it is started to throw me an error. And what it is telling, that means a component should have a single child element. Okay, if you are creating a component, it should be have a single child element, which means everything should be wrapped into a one element. So that is why we are creating a div and putting all the HTML code inside the div. So now it is not throwing error because the component is going to return a single element that is going to be div, and inside the div only we're going to have it. So that is why here also we wrapped it with a fragment. Okay, so fragment is a bit same like div only. For right now, just understand it. Okay? So this what. So now the second one is going to be okay. Shubha, yeah, if you are interested in any jobs, then you can join our WhatsApp group. You will have any info. They will update you regarding any information that you are interested in. You can join it and you can get the things there. Okay, so that's one. So now what we're going to do, we're going to create a components like exactly this. So what we're going to do is we're just going to go for Bootstrap, and we all know that what is Bootstrap is. And from the Bootstrap, what I'm going to do is what I'm going to do. Let us go for the docs. Okay, so Bootstrap is they give a custom component, so that is why we are just going here. We don't want to like install Bootstrap like this. Because of understanding, I'm just going here and I'm getting the CDN and we're going to add it. So what I'm going to do is, and in the meta tag we need to add this CDN. Okay, let us copy this. Let us copy this code. Okay, and then we will add the CDN first in our index.html files. So here before the CSS, no CSS file here. So let me add it below this icon. So this is Bootstrap. Okay, and then we need the script file. Okay, let me add this file and scroll this. And if you want to add this also, you can add it, but we are not going to implement lot of Bootstrap JavaScript, so you don't want to worry about this one. Let me add this. Let me check whether the Bootstrap component is working or not. So what we going to do is yeah, well, no, I just want to get a component. So I just want a component. The component now is going to be navbar, so that is the component that I want. Let me take this code, that is copy this code, and just go here. And here I just going to create a component, and that component is going to be a separate component. So I just going to mention, I'm going to put all the components in a single place. Just say component, and you can mention it as plural component. Okay, I just forgot to mention that. Okay, and I just going to say navbar dot jsx or js, anything that you wanted, you can use it. And here I just how we can create a function, a component. Just say function, and the component name is going to be nav. I just mention it as nav right now. And what it need to return? It need to return the thing, the entire HTML JavaScript code. So entire HTML here it is there. Okay, it is looking fine. Okay, so it is looking fine. And let me see what is happening when we started to what is happening when we started to export it and when we import it. What is kind of error that we are facing and how can we how can we solve this error? Everything we will see. And I just going to say export default, and here I just say what I want to export. It is going to be now. Okay, so this I just want to export it, and here it is throwing me an error. Let me remove this one. Okay, let me okay, let me see what kind of error that we are having here, and we will solve this. And here instead of this one, I just want to import my navbar here. So I'm just going to say import nav. You can see it is importing now from /nav component and navbar. Let us see what is the error that we are getting in our file. Let us go for here in React application. You can see that some of the things are missing here. That is why we are getting the error. So let's see, because this will be really helpful to understand the syntax of JSX. Okay, so that's why. So let us go here, and I will point out what all are the syntax error that we are making here one by one, and we will make the code work. Let's see how what all are the error. First of all, now is fine. Okay, it is a JavaScript one. It is fine. You can able to see class. So if I say class, we all know that in HTML class is a pseudonym, but in JavaScript class is actually a keyword, right? So what in JSX it get confused because we are writing JavaScript code inside HTML code inside JavaScript. We will write it. So we need to confirm that, right? So what we need to what the first thing that we need to do is everything should wrap in a single element. So here nav is getting all the elements. You can see inside nav only everything is there. So that is fine. Second one is you should not use the result keywords in the JavaScript. So then what I need to do? Well, you need to rename the component as class name. So each and every like words that already in JavaScript, here you have a different word. For example, for loop, okay, is that. And in library also, sorry, in label component, you HTML, you will have for. So for that, they have different naming. So those reserved words, you should not use it. First of all, that's one. Okay. And once it is done, change everywhere, wherever you are using name, and just change it. It's a little bit time taking, but do it. It is worth. Okay. And I just going to change it here. Name. And here, let me see that actually error is coming because nothing is inside. Okay, so nothing is also inside that, so that is why it's pointing out. So let me see that. Okay, this means class, and we have button, and also we have ul li home, and this drop down where we are getting the error, this li a u l li something else. So here, yeah, you can able to see there is actually a HR tag is here. Okay, HR tag is here, and it is called as class dropdown, and this tag is not closed properly. So that is the reason. So in HTML, we can create the HR tag, BR tag, right? Simply without any closing. We can just BR open it. It will create a break. And if I say HR, it will create a horizontal line. But in JSX, every tag should be closed. Here, it should be closed like this. Okay. So if it is a self-closing tag, you need to self-close it, or else you need to close like this. You can see opening tag and closing tag. And if it does not have closing tag, you need to close that as a self-closing tag. So what are the tags that have self-closing tag? For example, image that has a self-closing tag, and this kind of single words like B or A or they are self-closing tags. They have that. So and also input tag, you can able to see input tag is also showing an error because they also self-closing tag. I just mentioning it as a self-closing. And now if we save it, let's see we have any errors or not. Okay, let me refresh this one. We are not having any errors, but we are facing an issue. It is not showing. So what is happening? We need to check that one, right? So let me do one thing. We will add the class name, or else we can first add whatever we added. We remove this one and let us refresh. Okay, I think the bootstrap is okay. So here we not imported the nav. I'm just going to say nav, and it is a self-closing tag. And if you're importing here, you can see the nav bar is created, and I just remove this one and I'm saving here. And here you can able to see the error that is coming is class name is not class name. There are so much of classes is that you are asking for class name. So this is what it is. So what I want to do is I need to change every place. I need to change it. So let me do it quickly by multiple selector. Okay, just give me a moment. Class, 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 class. Okay, save it, and few more is that we done this. Class, select this, and then select, and we add this name. So if you are getting this error, we check whether everything is fine or not, or if still is the error is coming, then you missed out some class name. Okay, now it is added. Now you can see our navbar is successfully added. Okay, so this is one component. Okay, this is one component. So now what I'm going to do? I need to create the next component. So the next component is going to be the hero component, right? Let's see, go and let me add a hero component, and then hero component, it's going to be the accommodation, beach, button, tag, carousel, collapse, drop down, nav and tabs. Let's see this. No, this is we don't want it. Okay, we already added the nav, and or else you can just go for any some other things that you like, templates that share that where you will get it. Okay, so you can add it. So let me add and carousel. Okay, so in the hero component, it will just move it like this. Okay, just click the button, collapse. I need a carousel. Okay, so carousel button with that is going to have the image. So let me add this one. Okay, so let click this one, and what I'm going to do. So the app is here imported, and I want to create a separate component. That component is going to be carousel. Carousel. Don't care about the typos that I'm making. Okay, just focus on it. I just say function, and this is going to be hero carousel. Okay, like this. Return. Okay, and let me put everything inside a fragment or a div. I think hope this will already there. Okay, so the one thing what we need to change only the class. So let me add this one. Class name is done. The next thing we need to check it, the self closing tag. Okay, the self closing tag, you need to check this one. Okay, and we have added, I think, oh, everything is added successfully. Let me save and go for app.js, and here I need this. And if you install some extension, it will automatically import it when you are inserting. So or else you can just that. You just want to say call the hero carousel. You can see, just click it and just add it, and you can see that this is not imported here, so you need to import here also. So I need to say import. What is the name that I given as hero carousel? Hero carousel, and just click here, hero carousel from. So where it is from, dot slash, it's a component, and inside this component I have this carousel. Okay, just paste it here, and now let's see how our application is looking. Let us go here. We are having something called as export default. We mentioned some, I think, we haven't exported this one. Let me check this one. Yeah, we haven't exported the component. We're just going to say export default hero carousel. Okay, and if we save it here, and here it is saying that still the some of the child is missing, and it is telling that invalid expected string, the class function composite undefined. There are so much of errors we are getting. One is the class name is not defined, and we are having another error also we need to look into. And what is the error that we are having? The type of warning expected a string and class, and app.js. Yeah, fine. So it is saying that something is missing from here. So we need to look into that. Let me see that what we can do. Oh, sorry. Okay. First, let us say this class name carousel. We have changed it, and here the image, we need to add an image instead of just giving an empty one. Okay. So what we can do, we can go for any unsplash images, unsplashimage.com, and let me add some of the. Let's see, we will create an application, something for coding bootcamp or like this. Let's say coding, and I just going to add. Just right clickers, copy the image address. Let me paste it here, and I just remove the alt as cort. Okay, and for now I just going to paste all the image is going to be the same image, or we can just copy the image, paste, copy the image address, paste it here, paste it here, and yeah, and alt tag. Let me add some alt text. Okay, that's it. image self closing, and a div a button is controlled and everything is added, and targeted this everything is added, but still it will show an error because that I think it will coming from bootstrap. We haven't we missed out some class names, and I don't know where we are missing the class name. If you find it out, just change the class. If you have mentioned classes, then change that to class name. It will be work fine. Okay. mm, Here, class name, save this, refresh. Still every image bottom I missed out here also. Here and go here. Okay, and yeah, and now just give a refresh. No errors, and this is you don't want care about. And that's it. We have created our, yeah, we have created the component, and you can see the size is too big for this carousel, and it is changing. That is fine, but the size is too big. So what we can do is we can just minimize the size by adding CSS. So here in image they have default width and height property, so you can directly give the height. I just say height equal to, let's say height value equal to 600 pixel, and you need to give, okay, like this. You can see now it is shrink. Okay, so let me give it as, so whatever value that you want to give, you can give it. Okay, so it's up to you. You can just give it here. Okay, so this is fine, and this is okay for me. The images are a little bit sketching, that is fine, and you can able to see the only the first images is we haven't added for all the images. So what we do, let me do one thing. We will add a class name. Here we have the class name, right? So they have, let me add our own class, okay, in all the image. So image, here you can see with this 100%. So they added bootstrap this. They used it here where they added. So here I just going to add my own style. So there is two ways to add a styling. The first way is adding inline styling and internal styling, external styling. But we all know that actually we have Tailwind CSS, we have style components. So much of things is there. You can use it, but when you are starting, you can go with the normal CSS follows. Let me start with that. I just going to say the class name called image image dash com. Okay, like this. And I just going to mention this image dash com in all the image place. Okay, like this. And the class name is added. So now what I'm going to do is I just going to outside this component, I just going to create a file name called app.css. Whatever name you like to give, you can give it. So here I just going to say image comp is going to be my component, and I just want the height equal to 100 view height, like this. Okay, or I can say 90 vh, something like this. And here I just go here in app.js. What I want to do is I need to import the CSS. Okay, then only it will apply to all the if you imported it in the head component, the CSS will apply to all the child component also. So what I'm going to do, I just going to say import. Okay, so import, here it is going to be a single file. We are not importing a component, so I just say dot slash where we are in app, right? So I just want to the same file dot slash, I just want app.css, app.css, and if I save it here, and let me do one thing, and you can see the changes here. And for clearly seeing the changes, I just say body background color. Okay, that's, I just want it in something like aquatic white. And now let us go here. You can see 90% of the screen is occupied by this, and the aquatic white is also added. Clear? So this the component, and I'm again saying that you can add best images as you can. Right now I added some images that is not that good. Okay, so you can add your best images. Okay, so basically it depends upon you. Okay, so now we have created it, and now let's go and let me add this one. Let me go here. I think you understand what is actually component is. For example, right now we're going to see how we can reuse our component. So for that, I just go for a component page. Let me see for cards. Okay, so this one is fine. So in card section, I just go here, and you can able to see we having cards, right? I want this one. I just copied this one, and I just go here, and what we can do, the same procedure, go inside component and create a component called cart.jsx. Okay, and we made a mistake. Yes, this is not a folder. Please delete this. It's a file, and it is going to be core.jsx. Okay, and here I just going to create a function, and the function name should start with caps, and adding this, giving here, and I just say return. Okay, and return, and what I want to return, I want to return the entire component, and I just want to say export default cart. Okay, this is what I want to do, and it's going to be default. Okay, so this one you need to work on it. Yeah, so now we have some issues because of the tags are not self close, so the image is not self close, so that is why. So now all other thing, everything is fine. So now we are having the code. Let I save it here, go here, and let me go for app.js. Below this hero carousel, I just want my code component to be added, and now it is automatically added the code component, so I don't want to again import it. Once you added it, you can able to see some styling thing is missing. Let's see what is happening. You can see a style, right? So here what is the problem is a style component is defined. So in JSX we are not supposed to do like this. We need to create an object for our styling. So component inline, then what you need to do is you just want to use a curly braces. Okay, and inside the curly braces you need to pass an object. Okay, and this should be value should be string, like how object is defined like this. So style, and you are going to write anything that style thing component, you need to give a curly braces. Okay, and then you want to pass all your styles as an object. You can see object this way, you need to pass it, and the key is not enclosed with double quotes, and the value is enclosed with double quotes. And if we save it, well, the error is not gone. Now let us scroll here. You can able to see the card component is here. Let me go here, and for coding, let me add some good image. We know this image is everyone's favorite. I just go copy this, and in SRC I just add, and now let us go for React app, and here you can able to see we are getting the code component. Okay, and you can add an extra styling also. For example, and I just say that margin. I'm just going to say top is equal to 10 pixel, and left and right is equal to 30 pixel, something like giving here, and let us say give 50 pixels, something like this. Okay, and you can add whatever the tag that you want. So now I need this card component for 3 times. So what can I do? Well, here you can call the card component simply like this, 1 2 3. And now let me save this card component, just give a refresh, and you can able to see the card component is in 3 times, but I want it in this direction. Okay, I don't want it should be here. So what I'm going to do is, so here I just going to say what we do, and here let me have this margin with rem and everything. So here we can add everything inside a container, and we can call this one. For example, here it is a card, and we can add a card container here. So let me say card container. Okay, so this is going to be our middle component. I'm just going to say card container dot jsx. Okay, and here I'm just going to say that import card from cards. Okay, and here it is going to be a function. That function is going to be a called uh, container contain container, and here I just going to add it, and this is here, yeah, and I just going to say return, and it is going to return three kinds of code. So I just going to wrap it with a div. Okay, so a div, and this is also going to have a closing flag div, and here I just going to import the code component for three times because I want it for the three times. So I just going to say three times. Okay, so this is called reusability, and here in app.js, app.carousel, remove this. In app.js, remove this one. So instead of this, you can insert the code container component. Okay, so I'm just going to say code. So I think we haven't exported it, so I'm just going to say export default code container. Okay, and save it here in app.js. I just say code container code container, this one. Okay, and yeah, close it and save it. Here we add it, and here we can give the style, and how we can give the inline style. Just give the object, poster object, and just say display, and I just want the display is equal to flex, so automatically, and we need to mention the flex it in a string manner. Okay, so now it is comes here. Okay, so this is pretty okay form. So now you can able to see the chords are comes here, but you can able to see all the chords have the same thing, right? I need to render a dynamic. For example, the first one should have a image and a different title and different thing. But though we are calling it for three times, so the component is repeating for three times. So how can I give a dynamic content to this component? So that is called as props, because if you pass something called dynamically, then only there is having a meaning, like you are creating an application, right? So then it is called as reusability, right? So that's what you need to do. Okay, so now we created this nav box. Okay, so that is bootstrap, and this is also coming from, yeah, this is also we are created it. Now we're going to we're going to send different value here. So what you can, how you can send it means, simply here while you are importing the components, here you can simply say, for example, here I can say image, what the image I want to send it. So here I just go for here, the image I want to send here is, the first image is going to be this. I just say copy the image address and I just paste it here. Well, there is a lot of other ways is that I'm telling the basic one. If you already know React, you don't want to care about this thing. Okay, so for people who don't know anything, I'm speaking here. Okay, so and what I want, I need to send a core title. Okay, so I just give a space and let me add the title. Okay, okay, and here you can just give a title. Title as, let me give you a title. Title, sorry, I just used the colon equal to, I just say car title, let's say web developer. Okay, and you have going to have para. Let me make this para as statics, and yeah, this two things is enough for now. Okay, let me add the remaining, the same thing for the remaining component, change the content dynamically. Okay, like this, like this. Now we remove this image, and let me pause some other image. So we know that we already have some default image. So let me go and grab the code component and get the default image, this one. Okay, so this is a one of good image. So just copy this one and I just going to paste it in the second component. And for third component, let me go and switch component this one, this fine. Copy the image address, adding here, and passing some just say web developer, app developer, and let's say iOS developer. Now, and I'm saving here. So now inside this card here, you can able to get all your values that you passed in the component. For example, here I just going to say props, okay, not this dot props. I just simply say props, and here I just asking a console dot log, okay, what is props? What is going to be props? Let me go for my application. Let me right click and inspect and check on the console. You can able to see we are getting some three objects, okay, basically. And if I go, so actually props is going to create an object, and inside this, whatever the value that we are passing, it will be there. So now what we can do, I can destructure this object. So either here I can create a destructuring component, and you need to know about ES6 before you coming to ReactJS. Just keep it in mind, that one. I just say const, and here I just going to use the curly braces. I just say what all are the things that I want to destructure, title, and I just want to destructure the image. Okay, so these three things I just want to destructure, and here I just say props. Okay, and now the values are destructured. You can simply import it, but now you need to know about how can I write. Right now we know JavaScript, inside we are returning HTML. So inside HTML, how can I write JavaScript? Okay, so well, you can use template literals. Okay, you can use the curly braces and you can call it, then the JavaScript code will be applied. For example, this one. So wherever you want to use JavaScript inside HTML in JSX, you can use the curly braces, and inside you can write the things. For example, in card title, I just want to add the title. Okay, like this, and change this to class name whenever you have time. Okay, whenever you are having time, just change this to class name. Okay, like this, and this, yeah, this, and that's it. Let me save this one. So now you can able to see the contents that are changing differently. You can see web developer, app developer, iOS developer. You can see the images are rendered dynamically and the title also rendered dynamically. So likewise, what you can do means you can simply like create a component once and send, by sending the data dynamically inside a component, you can use it. That is what actually reusably things is. And what is actually props is? So props is sending information from one component to another, passing information from a component to another. For example, right now you having you want to pass this title to another component. You can pass and do. Here we have a title, right? So I just create btn, and here I just say click me. Okay, the same thing I just going to paste it in all other code also. Okay, here and then here I just going to paste it. Click me, scroll me. Simply I'm just putting, don't take serious. Okay, just say click like this, like this. So now what I can do is I can create another component that is called as button. Okay, that is called as button.jsx. Now what I can do is go inside this card component, and you have button, right? So this, I think this a href is acting as a button. I just cut out this one and save this. You can see the button is left. Now what I'm going to do, I just going to create a function, and that function is going to be a btn, a button component, btn comp. I just naming it like this, and here it is going to return fragment, and inside this we can going to paste it, and here go somewhere is there, right? So inside this I need to pass that value. So how can I pass it first? So how can we pass this one is, first we need to export this component, export default btn comp, right? We have exported it, and where we need this btn, we need it in here. So let me import here, import btn comp from comp, and here let me add btn comp. And here only we are getting this data, even the btn, whatever the value that we added in the container. Okay, you can see the button is added, but we haven't added anything here. So in this container only we are passing this btn. So now what I'm going to do, I'm going to inside the props I'm passing here, and I just say btn. So it is restructured here. So now what we can do, we can pass this btn to this component, because here only I need to render it. Where you want to render, you can pass it, like one component to another, you can pass it. For example, here I just say btn equal to btn. So this is going to be, this is coming from the JavaScript. So I just going to wrap this with curly braces. Now here in this button component, if you check the props, if I ask for what is props, okay, and here we will remove the console log. I think it is removed. Let me ask console.log what is props. Console.log what is props. Right click it, click on inspect, go for the console. Here you can able to see the image and title. You can able to see the btn that we are getting here. So what I'm going to do, what we need the btn. Okay, so either you can destructure it, or without destructuring, you can call it like this is an object. So just say props dot btn. Now save it. You can see click me, scroll me, and click. It will be added, and that's it. That's how we will use the reusable component. So this is something what we have created now. We haven't to focus on the styling. Don't care about that. You can align it center and all those things. We can do this. Okay. So here likewise we will do everything. So you can create the search bar as a different component, and this button as a different component, logo for a component, and like this each and everything you can create a single separate component, and you can render it, and you can pass the dynamic data that depending upon the place. For example, here the button needs to, if I hover it, it's in green color. Here if I hover it, it is in red color or any other color. Like that we can pass the props, and we can able to change. Okay, so this is about the basics. So how we can reusable the components, and how we can probably pass the props. Okay, and in the upcoming class we will see about the list rendering and how to work with some core is JavaScript concept that we going to apply. We're going to see that one. And once we done that, we're going to jump into state, how to maintain state, like the DOM operation, how can we work with here without touching the DOM, how can we work with that. That's we will discuss it. Okay, so that's what it is. So yeah, if you have any doubts, you can ask it in the chat box, and be in the line. I will share you the admins link. Please, you can submit your admin. If you have any doubt or anything you want to discuss now, just tell it in the chat box. Okay. Yeah, you can able to see I shared the attendance form in the chat box. So people who are willing to submit the attendance to get the certification, you can just submit it. And once you submit it, tell it in the chat box, and the live will be ended within 3 minutes. Yeah, sorry, 2 minutes. If you have any doubts or anything that you want to ask till now, you can if you want to discuss anything, you can ask it. So till now we have discussed only function based component, not any class based component. If we have times for this bootcamp, we will discuss about class based component also. That is also exactly going to be, this process is going to be same, but the syntax is going to be different. Okay, because instead of classes we will use class objects to create components. That's what it is. And passing the props, handling the state is going to be way different. And this one is that any option rather than props to manipulate data. Yes, we have like, no, you are asking sending data. So basically, props, we have props and we have states. Okay. So props is used to, we have, that is also handling data. So both things is going to handle the data. Props is used to handle data from one component to another. If you like how we pass from one component data to another component. Like, but what is state is, state handles the data within that component. Okay, if you want to pass that component in state, like the data in state, if you want to pass it, then you need to again create a props and you need to pass it. Okay, There is two things is that to handling the data is one is state to maintain our current state of the component, and if someone clicks it, you need to change the component, right? So yesterday we discussed it. We already have the initial stage and we have the ending stage. So we don't care about the DOM, how to do it. So how to do it, React will take care of it. Okay. Basically, the two ways we can able to work with manipulation of data. So one is state and props. Props is used to send, like passing the data from one component to another, and state is used to handle the data within that state. And also state is like a centralized area where anyone can come and get the data. Okay. Props is basically dynamically changing your date thing. And one more thing is, right now you can able to see this one. So this one, uh, you can able to see in container I created btn, and this is passed to the core component. And in this component here, now again I'm passing to the another child component. Okay, so a component, the props is passed to small component, and a props is passed to another component. So likewise we are like if you have more number of child you want to pass it, means then what will happen, you need to pass it through all the component and you need to use it. So this is something called as props drilling. Okay, so to avoid this only we having context API. So those things will be there, and that will be covered after this workshop. So this what you can do is, you don't want to pass the props in each and every parent component that you want to get towards the child component. You don't want to pass it, you can directly pass through the child component without that. Okay, with the help of this context API, and those things will be really helpful. And right now the state management is becomes very easy with the help of you can use Redux or Flux. There are so much of state management is that you can use that. There is an all this basics. Okay, in this basics, if you understand the problem statement, then probably you can able to understand what is the issues that it is solving. So in the upcoming, if you understand any, if you learn any state management, then you can able to understand it. Okay, so that is a very good alternatives also that you can use it. This is just a basics. Okay, you don't want to. Yeah. Okay, guys, I hope that everyone understand something. So tomorrow is not going to be any classes. You will have classes after that. We will see that time. Yeah. Thank you so much. We will see after. We will see the class, next class in Thursday. Okay, we will discuss it. Thank you so much. Thank you all.